America, where everyone has a voice, but too many fail to speak. Too many don't know the foundation of our nation, have never read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or the Articles of Confederation, and fail to end up in a voting booth. It's time for change. Welcome to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin, a platform for young America to voice their ideals and have meaningful dialogue on politics, economics, and social issues. Connect at thevoyatampabay.weebly.com. Now, the host of the Voice of Young America, Justin Austin.
Welcome to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Thank you guys for tuning in. Just want to get started today with the American dream. What comes to mind to me was when you said the American dream, it was supposed to be something that was germane to the American ideal, to the American cause, to the American mission and motto, a search for a better life. And not only a search for a better life, but for the freedom to serve the Creator in the way that they felt like they should see fit to serve him. Under the king, they didn't believe that they could serve God and serve their lives in the way that they saw fit. And to be honest, to read their writings, you would share their ideals. But do you read their writings? That's the most interesting part of it, right? We love this place called America. We say it holds something special. It holds something that touches the heart. It holds something that provides opportunity. It holds something that provides great potential. It holds something that is just great and magnificent because what it represents. If I told you that I am a living child of God, that my faith falls under the category of, man's category of religion as a Christian. Now, if I told you I believed in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, but I never read the Bible a day in my life, does that mean I don't love him? No, I wouldn't say that doesn't mean you don't love Jesus Christ. But how could you know God and how could you know Christ without reading and embodying the word of God? How could you truly understand God's promises for you if you never read his word? I'm not saying reading the letters of the founding fathers is on the same level as reading the Bible, but it goes God, family, and country. To know God's promises is to read his word and to listen to him in your heart and your mind through your spirit, through the Holy Spirit. To know your family is to spend that time with them and getting to know their hearts like you do your friends. Your friends and family, you get to know them. You get to know their promises. You get to know their hopes, their dreams. When it comes to the country, to really embody the American spirit, you have to know of America. When those who want to come over and be grafted into American society, into the American mainframe, they have to be naturalized as citizens. Well, for them to be naturalized, they actually have to know what America is. They have to understand the laws and treaties and structure of America. How much more so the natural born American? How can we say we hold true and dear to the values that America is and represents and provides, but we don't know the true essence of what made it so? We don't appreciate what we have here in America because we really don't understand it, right? And why don't you understand it? Because you don't understand the pain, the sorrow, the promise, the potential that the founders either went through or possessed. And the reason you don't know that is because that's not important to you. To understand the American foundation is not something that you feel is necessary. I look at the disconnect that we have between so-called Christians and a walk in Christ, and then I look at the disconnect between so-called Americans and the walk towards that American dream. The disconnect is so real. Most Christians don't know the promises of God. Most Christians don't know the words of Christ. They know what their pastor said about Christ. But just like the American, right? They know what the teacher said about the founding of America. They know what the news has said about the founding of America. When you read the letters of George Washington, when you read the letters of Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, John Jay, Alexander Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin, when you read the words of these gentlemen, James Madison, those who were working day and night to build this structure that we have and embrace and embody today, then you would be moved. When you read the Psalms of David, aren't you moved by his pleas and his cries towards Christ, towards God? He said, I speak to my Lord so my Lord can speak to his Lord. David didn't see Christ, but he knew of Christ already. He knew that he was serving Christ who serves God. This stuff is deep. Why do you think he says in Psalms 1, the man who meditates on my word day and night will be like a tree planted next to the waters? The man who understands what this country was really founded on, the hopes and ambitions and goals, they wouldn't wake up as sheep every day. When they hear the news of Paul Ryan leaving office, would they be saddened? To be honest with you, if you told me Paul Ryan was leaving office 3 years ago, I would have been somewhat distraught. I would say a pillar of the American dream is actually being removed from Washington. But I can't say that today. Paul Ryan's become a politician. If you told me Marco Rubio was leaving office and retiring 3 years ago, I would have said, wow, please don't leave, Marco. But he's a politician. He's not a leader. What do you consider as a leader? You have to think about this, and I'm gonna this example I'm about to give you is definitely something we're going to talk about later. But what we see as a leader, what we envision, and what the definition we have in our hearts as a leader is what we're going to help embody outside into this world. What you believe internally, you're going to try to manifest externally. So if we looked at what's going on externally, we could do it inverse and look back and see what's going on internally. So look at what we consider leaders. I know that's a lot to take in if you actually really thought about it. If you actually took a deep breath and really thought about what we consider, who we consider as leaders. Well, you don't have to guess. Look at who's in office. Nancy Pelosi is the minority leader and was previously the Speaker of the House. What does that say about America? No one who truly considers what a leader is and looks at Nancy Pelosi and can say that they're congruent. No, who can say they look at the design and the characteristics and the makeup and the model of a leader and can say that applies to Paul Ryan? I used to believe that the two were congruent, but I no longer feel that way. Is it because Paul Ryan has changed? Well, he got in a position to grow, and that growth brought about change. That change went from leadership to politician. Marco Rubio started as a leader. Then he grew into a politician because he had ambition. And his ambition obviously told him he needs to be more of a politician so he can lead. But that doesn't work that way. True leaders. I'm gonna give you an example. Fidel Castro, right? People hate Fidel. They say Fidel's a bad man. But think about go back to the early 50s when Castro was like, a young man, 19 to 25, how old he was, and when he was fighting for the revolution. That man wasn't a politician. Fidel Castro wasn't a politician. He was a leader. He was a leader of a revolution that allowed him to be in a position of power. And then he became a politician and a dictator and all these things. But go back to what Fidel Castro was during the revolution. He wasn't a politician. Go back to a lot of these guys when they were growing. Even Vladimir Putin, you don't like him now, but when Vladimir was running through the ranks, he was a leader. Real leaders aren't politicians. People praise Gandhi. Gandhi wasn't a politician. He wasn't a demagogue or a spokesman. He was a man with a purpose and a passion that was worth dying for, literally. Who do we have in office right now will say they will literally die for the betterment of America? None of these guys will duck and dodge if a shoe's thrown at them. You think they're going to jump in front of a bullet for America? Be realistic. The call to action today is for you to actually understand what a leader is. What is it what you consider as a leader? As someone who should direct the paths of others through example, through instruction, through edicts, however you want to put it. But what do you define as leadership? And then once you define what leadership is, help implement it. First, by embodying it within your home or within your group or community, but also when you go to the voting booth. Truly think, who is a leader? Go to the booth and say, this is what my definition of a leader is. And then when you go through, find the leader that's on the ballot. I'm not going to say he's Republican or she's Republican or Democrat or independent. I'm not going to say what those people are. I'm going to tell you, select the leader. The leader is someone with a purpose to be where they are. And how do you know they have a purpose, Justin? We don't know much about them. How do we know? Listen to them. These people give out a lot of content, regardless if you pay attention to it or not. If you truly cared, you would take the time and you would see what they actually offer. You would see what their life is like. Judge a man by what he puts forth, not what he says only, but judge a man by what he puts forth. So look at these people and see what they put forth. They might have not ran a country or a state or a county. They might not have done that, but they've done other things where you can actually get a chance to evaluate their leadership abilities. This America is so beautiful, so amazing. I mean, I'm truly in love with America because it still holds hope. Once a man stops hoping, that's when his life is over. Once we stop hoping for America, that's when our country is over. I know it sounds super deep, right, Jay? Why are you getting so deep? Because it's so real. We have to put the vision before the individual. Let's say that again. The call to action is to put the vision before the individual, because the vision is going to take care of everyone. The individual can't. The individual can only bring so much, but if they are not a part of the mission, if they're not congruent to the vision and the values, then they don't offer anything that's going to help us be great again. Say goodbye to Paul Ryan. It's okay. We'll be fine. This is the voice of Young America. We're about to go to our sponsors. Thank you for listening. We'll be back in a moment. And I want you guys to check out the website, thevoyatampabay.weebly.com, and download the app, the Voya app. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Watch what happens on the Voice of Young America YouTube channel. The Voice of Young America on AM 860. The Answer.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions, 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa. I'm Justin Austin, host of The Voice of Young America. When it comes to complete auto repair and fast service, check out the pros at AutoLens Center, 1308 East Bush Boulevard in Tampa, providing professional quality work on all American-made and foreign car models. Great pricing on complete auto repair services, oil changes, and brakes. AutoLens Center at 1308 East Bush Boulevard, where experience and good service go a long way. Call 813-764-7891. That's 813-764-7891. AutoLand Center. I'm Justin Austin with The Voya. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with an artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete. Or check out cafeon46.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by email, thevoyatampabay@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Glad to have you guys back up at our commercial break. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors at Cafe 46. It's the vibe of downtown, but it's in North St. Pete. Go check them out. 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Petersburg. Like I tell you, the chef is Ryan. The guy makes some great pork quesadillas. You're going to always hear me talk about those pork quesadillas because I love them. Probably not. I got to do some more exercising, but hey, it's all right. On to our moment of truth today. And the truth is, America owes America. You know, when they said to Christ that he cast out devils or demons in the devil's name, Christ laughed at him. Christ said, how can I cast out devils if I'm from the devil? Because a house divided cannot stand. So that doesn't make any sense. And how can America expect anything from America by being selfish, right? Think about it. The only way the whole can be great is if the individual serves the whole. We want the whole to be great and ourselves to be great, but at the same time, we only want to serve ourselves. How far does that go? Don't look towards any place else besides the man in the mirror, as Michael Jackson says. America owes America to be great. And make sure you hold that responsibility. When I was talking in the last section about the founders, George Washington is still, like, I love my man Abraham Lincoln, but George Washington brings an awe into my heart. And why is that? Well, the truth is he wasn't the most magnificent man. But his devotion to the vision of what America is and what could become was unparalleled. He knew that this country and what the motto was, what the future was worth dying for. He knew that he actually had to be in uncomfortable positions such as president, because he wasn't a very well-spoken man. He wasn't a natural-born speaker. But he rose to the occasion. That was uncomfortable for him, those positions. But he knew that the vision was more important than his comfortability. That's amazing. He knew that he owed the dream, because the dream is what inspired him to move forward every single day. So he had debt to that dream called America. What debt do you feel that you owe to this country? And serve that debt with all your heart. we won't be great as a society unless the individuals that comprise that society serve the vision of the whole, because the vision of the individual should be congruent with the vision of the whole. If that's not the case, leave. Just like other people leave their countries and come to America, leave this country and go somewhere else. If your vision and values don't correspond to the values of America, leave. Do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and get out. No one's holding you here except opportunity, right? I digress. All right. Our next section is our financial piece and our economic piece, and we're going to get into it. So the call to action today is being economic lions. Well, Justin, what does that mean? Are you talking about Mr. Zuckerberg being the economic lion? Yeah, he is to a certain degree. You have to respect that he is an economic lion, right? And that's why he's sitting in front of Congress the other day. And that was it's a dog and pony show when they do congressional hearings. And I was tempted to watch it. I tried to put it on, but I couldn't watch much of it because I forgot the one guy. Man, I can't think of his name, but he was talking about, it was a white guy. He was talking about the Black Caucus and how they felt about Silicon Valley not having enough minorities in it and whatnot. Is that something that I want Mark Zuckerberg to fix? Do I want Mark Zuckerberg to help fix the racial disparities among how many blacks, Latinos, or Asians are in Silicon Valley? No, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't fix that. You know who fixes that? An economic lion. Asian Americans in this country did not get a leg up because someone said, hey, you're Asian American. Here goes some government entitlement that's going to make your population a little bit stronger, a little bit better. Nope. Asian Americans didn't become what they are today because the what do they call them? Anti-discrimination laws. That did not make the Asian population the richest per capita. They wanted to be economic lions. I heard Dr. Miles Monroe said, I think this was back in the 90s. He said he went to Asia and he spoke. He was public speaking. He did it at a conference, and it was a bunch of Asians in there, mostly Chinamen. And he said to him, how come when you guys move into the states that I've seen that most of all of you own a business? And he says that when they come to the country, and they find somewhere, they look for somewhere where they can actually start a business. That's their whole goal. They say any employment that they may have, it's only temporary until they save enough money to start their own business. Now, at what point did they say, oh man, I'm going to wait for President Trump to pass a law that helps Asian Americans get businesses? No, that's not how they talk. No, I'm going to wait for President Trump to pass a law that gives special loans to Asian Americans. No, that doesn't happen. They move to America with almost nothing. And then the next step is to get a job in a place where they can save enough money to take care of their family and start a business. Economic lions. That is an economic lions. So if we're wondering about why Mark Zuckerberg is not helping more African Americans and Latinos get into, they didn't have to help Asian Americans get into Silicon Valley. You know why? Economic lions. No one's sitting there holding the hands of Asian Americans. So why do we need to hold them for African Americans or Hispanic Americans? We don't. We need economic lions. The way you break into an industry is by being an economic. I know, Justin, you're saying the same thing over and over. So explain to me what an economic lion is. It's someone with a true vision who's going to achieve at all costs economically. If I move to a country with almost nothing, I'm going to move to an area where I can work until I can start a business, where I can take care of my family, and my family no longer works for anyone else but me. We have something. Tell me how many Americans wake up every day and tell their kid to go to college so they can get a good job. These first generation immigrants who come over here, they don't have degrees. They have hard work. How come they are producing more and owning more than those who grew up in America? Those who grew up with privilege already. Economic lions. The Millionaire Next Door, it tells you Americans teach their children to work less harder than they do. How is that an economic lion? The call to action today is go to college to own your own business. Go to trade school to own your own business. Finish high school, get into the job market to own your own business. Economic lions. Economic lions don't wake up and say, wow, I'm going to go work for someone else. That's not an economic lion. Now you have those who say, you know what, I'm going to go be a part of a vision. And you are an economic lion by being a part of a vision that you have a connection with. That's totally fine. Everybody's not going to own their own business. So if you're not going to own your own business, at least be a part of a vision that aligns with your morals, values, and talents and skills. Because if you're passionate about something that you have no skill or talent for, that's not going to work out too well. So let's keep it in reason. Economic lions don't look to be second place. The call to action is to say that I am going to go and accomplish. If a first generation immigrant can come from another country with almost nothing and then now own a business and is putting his kids through college, you have no excuse to be on welfare. You have no excuse to be working the same job in the same position with no growth. You have no excuse. You grow only to a certain point where you hit a ceiling, and then you have to move. Move. The most beautiful thing, once again, about this American society is the opportunity to be an economic lion. So let's say, you know what, Justin, I truly want to be an economic lion. I seriously want it, but no one around me is an economic lion. So what I'm going to do, do I have to just shut off my friends? Yes. Woo. Who's going to do that, right? Because you're comfortable, right? You're comfortable with the people you hang out with. You're comfortable with the place that you live. You're comfortable in your mediocrity. You can't be great and hold on to mediocrity at the same time. Let those people go. Press towards the mark. Let those people go. Let those old habits go of being mediocre. The call to action. Wake up today. You already woken up, so you're listening at 6 p.m. Wake up today. And not out of bed. I mean, wake up mentally today. When they says you come to Christ and you get to know him, it says the Holy Spirit upon you, you have a renewing of your mind. Well, to be an economic lion, you have to have a renewing of your mind. The way that a man thinks, therefore he shall be. What is manifested internally will manifest itself externally. So if these things are all true, these are proven statements. The only thing stopping you from being economically a lion is your mind state. Man, I watched that movie, The Social Network, about Mr. Zuckerberg. The guy is a grinder. Now, maybe because he was somewhat antisocial and he was a little bit, not as socially cool and all those things. Maybe that just allowed him to focus on his work even harder than most can because they want that social life. The man with a very little social network built the biggest one in the world. Anybody see any irony there? The man who was antisocial has built the biggest social network in the world. Because he's a grinder. Something that was, maybe he had a yearning for friends. I don't know. Whatever it was, he was passionate enough about it to grind for it every day. And now it's the biggest social platform in the world. He's sitting in front of Congress. with at least $30 billion in his pocket. What I'm saying to you is Mark Zuckerberg is not special. If you want to say he's special because he's a grinder. That's it. Your talent is different from Mark's. Your opportunity level is different from Mark's. Your potential income is different from Mark's. It's okay. But I was talking to a company yesterday. I'm keeping this short, and I was saying, "What's your vision?" And the vision was to express their talent in a way that allowed them to accomplish enough of a financial standing to pursue their dreams. And what does that mean? That means you take your talent, you monetize it, you put yourself in a position to where you can pursue other things that make you happy, where you can serve your purpose on a bigger scale. Economic lions are those who wake up every single day and say, I'm going to go and get it, like that first generation Asian American. If you want to know how to be great, wake up and start grinding. The only thing that comes after hard work is what? Results. Coming out with a newsletter this month. It's going to be our first newsletter. You'll see more to come. They're going to come out on the about the 15th to the 17th of every month. So the first one will be out next Monday. Check that out. It'll be on the Voya app. You can download that on Google Play. It'll be on the Apple Store very soon. This is the Voice of Young America. We're going to commercial break. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. And just remember, economic lions are winners.
You're listening to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin at thevoyatampabay.weebly.com. The Voice of Young America on AM 860. The Answer.
I'm Justin Austin with The Voya. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with an artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete. Or check out cafeon46.com.
Ladies of Tampa Bay, are you looking for a whole new hairstyle or just want to take your current look from good to glamorous? It's time to call Tiffany. Whether it's highlights, cut, color, curls, or a wedding or special occasion, Tiffany will make your mess a masterpiece. And don't worry, guys, she does men's cuts too. Tiffany's located in North St. Pete. For an appointment, click on tiffdoeshair.com. That's tiffdoeshair.com or call 727-280-3098. tiffdoeshair.com.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions, 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by phone. Call 813-516-6851. 813-516-6851.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Thank you, folks, for listening in. We want to give a big shout out to our sponsors at Rose Employment Solutions. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. Check them out online, rose-emp.com, or just stop by 1020 West Bush Boulevard, Tampa, Florida 33612. Now let's get into our next segment. But before you do, I want to apologize, guys, because I was just thinking to myself, like, when people, might have heard about the Voice of Young America, and we were saying that we're going to deal with the issues that are facing Young America and Young America as a whole, they might have thought that, they were going to get a bunch of sound bites, right? They're going to be talking about whatever they're talking about on CNN, or whatever they're talking about on Fox News or MSNBC, or, John Kelly, or the Russia probe and Mueller, or whatever. I just can't do it. You have enough of that trash already. Why would I feed you more of that trash that's leading you down the same path? If you're listening to this show and you're waiting for us to start talking like Megyn Kelly or Rachel Maddow or the guy from Morning Joe, if you're waiting for that, you're going to be seriously disappointed. And so I'm sorry. This is about the issues that affect young America as a whole, the real issues. What do you think all that stuff on TV is about? It's a manifestation of the lack of values in America. Remember what we talked about last week? Your value system has been so depleted that you allow this crap to happen, and you think I'm going to help keep devaluing your system, depleting your system? No, I can't do it. So this show is about facing and attacking those issues that are prevalent among young Americans, America as a whole, but the real issues, the underlying issues. The only way that these issues that we face today can make themselves known is first if the value system that we supposed to hold dear is not being respected. So let's get into our next piece, the social piece, right? And I just keep coming back to the same place, right? We have a men's group. It's Thursdays. Panera Bread in Largo. It's Panera Bread at the Baltimore. It's Thursdays at 7 p.m. It's just a group of men who are in love with Jesus Christ. And we talk about the world. We talk about our lives. We talk about our families. We talk about our faith. And we build each other up in a brotherhood. Anybody who's listening is welcome to come. Once again, 7 p.m. Baltimore, every Thursday at 7 p.m. And we were just talking, and the biggest thing that I got from our last meeting was about vision. And what sparked this whole thing was listening to Dr. Miles Monroe. This gentleman is no longer with us. And he's a speaker, pastor, leader that was from the Bahamas. Just really powerful guy. You can hear that. You just knew that God put his hand on this gentleman because what he was, it was, he talks to the spirit. He doesn't talk to anything else. He talks to your spirit. So if you're actually listening and you're open to it, you can get a lot. And it was about becoming a better man. And he was talking about the States because obviously he's not from the States. And, but he was talking about the States, and he said that if you look at the family dynamic in America, and this was amazing for me, that after World War II, America truly changed because the family truly changed. Men went away to war. Women didn't stay home. Women went into the workforce to make the bullets, to make the provisions that they were sending over to the war. When the man came home, the woman wasn't home. She was working. So now the jobs that the men used to work before the war, their wives worked, right? So now you're coming back and now you're competing with the wives of America. Not only the men of America, you're competing against the wives of America. And not only that, if the wives are at work, who's home with the children? The nannies, okay. And so a lot of Americans started being raised by nannies. A lot of America lost kind of like that disconnect. Because of the fact that he pointed out, women literally depended on men for everything. All the provisions in the house were provided by the man. And the woman took care of all the provisions that were brought home and the children. And this dynamic was understood. A man knew where he stood within his family because he was literally the sole breadwinner. So after World War II, when women started working, that changed everything. Well, the economy changed because now it's more money in the economy because now you have a two-parent home. You see, why we can never go back to I mean, you have two parents in the workforce, but why we can never revert back to that is because the economy couldn't accept if women went back home. Women couldn't accept if women went back home. Men probably couldn't accept if women went back home. But he was saying that the dynamic changed. Now, was that a bad thing? I don't think it was a bad thing, but it seems out when that dynamic changed, the value system started to deteriorate. And it's not that the value system cannot be withheld within this paradigm shift of gender roles, but for some reason, it became harder to hold on to family values or spiritual values or community values. For some reason, I don't know why. But it did. It made a big difference. And then you had, as the decades progressed, that you had more women working, kids home by themselves, and then who became the supplement parent? The television. these progressions that have been made in American society are they're not just bad within themselves. If kids were being raised by more of TV, if TV still showed virtuous things, would that be a bad thing? Probably not as much. We probably wouldn't have as much of the negativity and destruction and violence that we have today. But so it was not that the paradigm shift occurred and women started working. It's that when that paradigm shift happened, the value system started to deteriorate. When the TV became more influential, what was it influencing you with? Sex, drug, and alcohol, right? So that's the problem. It's not that we're advancing as a country or as a world. That has never been the problem. I want to make this clear. Women in the workforce is not the problem. It's that women went into the workforce and somehow the family left the values, not even at home. They left them by the wayside. So what do we have here today? We have men who don't understand how they fit into the family, women who don't understand how they fit into the family, and children who don't understand what real family is. Now, multiply this by millions. And then now you have the American family today. We can never be great as a society. We can never be economic lions. We can never have proper leadership if the home isn't taken care of. That's why you see in the good book, it says for a man to be a bishop or a man to be a leader within the church, he first had to have one wife. Not only his wife had to be respectable, and not only that, his kids had to be respectable for you to be even considered to be a deacon or a bishop in the church. Is that the case now? For you to be considered a leader, your home had to be taken care of. Once again, we go back to that first section. What is a leader? What determines a leader? How do you see the fruits? My buddy Frank said to me the other day, Justin, I want to be showing symptoms of success. People will be able to identify what's going on in my life by the symptoms that I'm showing. Because if I was coughing, sneezing with a headache, you would say, Justin, you probably got the flu or you got a severe cold because you saw the symptoms. So what symptoms would you see from a leader to know that he's a good leader? Well, in the church, it said that the symptoms that we need to see is that you need to have a symptom of one wife. You need to have a symptom of a good wife. You need to have a symptom of obedient children. Wow. That's for some reason, that's really extremely tough today, right? It might have been tough back then. I didn't live back then, but I know that's extremely tough. If we really required of our leaders to have that particular provision, how many people would still be in Washington today? How many pastors will be in pulpits today? If we required that a man take care of his family and have a solid foundation within his family and a nucleus of Christ, how many leaders would we have? Even if you took out the faith piece, which I never do, but even if you took out the faith piece, you just had a man who had a good, solid family. Not on paper, but truly. How many leaders will we have in City Hall? How many leaders will we have in the state capitol? How many leaders will we have in the nation's capital? Making fathers great again is not a simple idea. Making fathers great again is so big. They had this thing back in the 90s. It was called Dad is Destiny. Now, there's exceptions to this rule, but this is the rule. The influence of a father upon the child, male or female, is so great that his absence is still earth-shattering. Okay, you guys need to peep that. Okay. The impact of a father on a child's life, whether it be male or female, is still earth-shattering even if he's absent. Because dad is destiny. Dad is so big when it comes to where is my destination? He provides so much in allowing someone to understand where's my destination. This is so huge, and it's so overlooked. Men overlook it, right? Because that's why they're not in the home and taking care of business, because they've overlooked this. Women overlooked it. That's why they don't hold on to these men and they push them away, or whatever the case may be. And children have no clue. They don't understand it. Your vision is so important. A man's vision for himself, his family, is so important, for his community, for his church, for his country, is so important. And your vision is something that cannot be seen to be taken lightly. A man with no vision can expect no one to follow him. And if a man has no vision and someone is following him, they're not healthy. You're able to tell how much of a leader you are by I think it is the coat of your sheep, right? You can tell how great of a shepherd you are by the coat of your flock, right? The way your flock looks. If you're a pastor listening right now, how does the coat of your flocks look? If you are a father right now, how does the coat of your family look? If you're President Trump right now, how does the coat of your citizens look? Does anyone ask these questions? Am I being ridiculous? Am I being ridiculous to say that we should judge a leader based off the symptoms of his flock? Is his flock successful? Well, how can he be successful? Is his employee successful? How can he be successful? How can we detach the two? You can't detach a leader from follower, because a leader is summed up by the sum of his followers. So making fathers great again, that's the call to action. And what does that mean? How can we act upon that call, Justin? Well, first, it's men understanding their vision. Fathers, ask yourself these 5 questions and answer them. Who am I? Where am I from? Why am I here? What can I do? As in, what can you produce? And where am I going? If you consider yourself a leader, you need to answer those 5 questions. If you are a father, you need to ask yourself those 5 questions. If you are a follower, you should be able to ask your leader those 5 questions about himself. The call to action, whether it's in leadership, whether it's in Economic Lions, whether it's in Making Fathers Great Again, the call to action first starts with defining the vision of a leader, defining the vision economically, defining the vision of the family, community, and country. Once you define the vision, you elevate that vision among everything else. Why? Because you cannot make the vision secondary to your emotions. You cannot make the vision secondary to your circumstances. You cannot make the vision secondary to your environment, secondary to those who you encounter. The vision has to be greater. For America to be great again, we have to make fathers great again. I'm on a mission to do that. I'm cleaning up my house. I want you to clean up your home. My house is not perfect. My floors still need to be swept. And that's why I wake up at 4:45 every morning to sweep my floors. I encourage you to do the same. Get a vision. Elevate that vision. This is the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host. Download the app on Google Play. Check us out next week. Be blessed.
You've been listening to The Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. The Voice of Young America relies on committed Americans like you to stand with us. If you're frustrated with the lack of real information being delivered to the next generation, then support Justin's efforts. Connect on social media, thevoyatampabay.weebly.com. Email thevoyatampabay@gmail.com. And be sure to join us next Saturday evening at 6 for the Voice of Young America here on AM 860. The Answer.